her little girl. I mean, she's the only niece I got, and I just love her.
What do you want to happen today, Jessica? You want us to try and change their minds? I mean, why are you here?
I want my brother-in-law to learn to accept this is what I choose, and if he loves me and he wants me to be happy, this is how I'm going to be happy. This is what I want.
Okay, well, let's meet Jessica's brother-in-law, Joe. Joe, come on out. Joe, now why do you use the N-word so much? I mean, I need to understand this because I read your pre-interview and it was just flying all over the place. You had no problems with just speaking freely. What is a nigger to you? Because maybe that'll help me if I understand what you think it is. What is a nigger to you?
Well, someone who don't take care of their obligations in their life, and they just don't, I don't know. I mean, it's...
I mean, doesn't he, Jessica, he lets that word fly freely, does he not? So then why can't he say, how come you can't tell us what it means now? You use it pretty frequently. What is your problem with interracial relationships?
I don't feel like it should be mixed. I mean, it's even written in the Bible. I mean...
That's in the Bible? I don't think that's in the Bible.
Something.
As a matter of fact, that's definitely not in the Bible. I think that's in people's interpretation of it. You know what? I mean, you guys are young, you know what I mean? So to me, I could, as somebody that's a little bit older than you, I might actually look at some of this as they're young, they being influenced. Is it an embarrassment? You know, are you worried about what other people think? Is this how you really feel? Do you really... Because, I mean, we heard it too many times. Well, it's not that I don't like black people. I have black friends, but I just don't think we should mix races. Well, if you say that, then obviously you feel like somebody's not good enough for the other person or something. You know, is that something you feel, or is it something you worried about what other people think?
No, I don't worry about nobody else. I mean, I don't worry about what nobody else thinks about it. I mean, it's just the way I was brought up, I guess. I don't know.
All right. Well, Jessica, why don't you talk to Joe and explain to him what it is you want him to understand?
You say you want me to be happy and you just want what's best for me. Well, why don't you see this is what I want? This is what I choose. Why can't you just accept it?
It ain't the fact that you date them. I mean, I have friends that are black. I mean, I just don't want the way he hurts you and the way he goes out on you and stuff like that. And he come to my house one day and I had to pick your daughter up. She was laying on the floor screaming, and I picked her up. I asked him why don't he pick her up, and he didn't even lift his hands to pick his own daughter up. You tell me how that made me feel.
But what does that have to do with the color of your skin? That sounds like a guy who got problems being a man. He has male issues. He has man issues. I mean, you see how this is hurting her. It's obvious. Okay, suppose that there was a white guy and he was treating her the same way. Does the white race get banned because he treats her bad? So I'm trying to understand, how does everything you just said to her relate to him being black? Is that how you think all black men are?
Well, I know that ain't the way all black men are.
And you don't consider yourself to be a racist, though?
No, not really.
But
no,
I
do not.
But you drove past like a KKK rally and you like took a brochure. You thought maybe you would join?
Well, that's just the place I live. I mean, you see it.
But you would join the KKK? Because, you know, once you sign up there, you pretty much decided what you are and who you are. That becomes your identity. You no longer be who you are. You ain't Joe no more. You just a KKK member. You understand that, right?
I understand you.
It's a bunch of following to me. Just sound like a bunch of follow the leader, monkey see, monkey do. I have no, you know, I can't make a decision on my own. This is what I was raised and taught, and so therefore I am. You have a comment for me? Stand on up.
Yeah. Hello, it's nice to meet you.
You too.
You look very well.
Thank you for coming by.
Well, first to the guest, I want to say one thing to him. First of all, a nigger is anyone that's ignorant.
Ignorant,
That
exactly.
could be black, white, pink. And second of all, did you say that's your sister? You love your sister?
Yes.
Well, you should be more supportive of her, brother. And the last thing you had said, the little comment you had made about the guy won't pick the baby up off the floor, that seemed like it was something personal. That was like she was saying, it could have been a white person, doesn't matter. So you should deal with your issues within yourself. Give your sister some support. She loves you, man. And she's hurting. And she wants you to see things as what it is worth. You have black cousins. So, you know, try to check yourself out, look into yourself, look in the mirror, and think what you're saying, and try to give your sister more support. All right?
Did you had a comment for us before as well? Stand up for me.
Well, I happen to know that most little boys look at their father as some kind of hero or something like that. And they usually believe everything that they say.
Right.
So I was just wondering if somewhere along the line your father had some bad experience and he was telling you to stay away from black people or something like that. Anything that make you shy away.
I might have. I don't know.
He's so quiet now.
Well,
And you seem so quiet and humble, but I know you kick up some dust when you're not around us and this whole audience. This is like a whole different story. I just feel it. Stand up for me. You have a comment?
Yeah, I just had a comment. I think that some people use race as a scapegoat when they can't think of anything better to blame. I'm from the South, so San Antonio, and a lot of people I'm from a city that's majorly Hispanic, and in my school there were a series of interracial riots. They so-called blew them up in the news, and it was all because of some stupid basketball game where, you know, it was a Mexican and a white guy got in fights, and so it just started this whole racial thing, and yeah, everyone at school was like afraid to come to school, and it was just like blown up in the media too. But I just thought that people used it as a scapegoat.
So a bunch of ignorance perpetuates the ignorance.
Right.
That's crazy. Karen, what advice do you have for Joe, Jessica, and Samantha here?
Well, you know, what Joe is doing is really breaking up a family, Queen, because, I mean, if you love your sister-in-law, you can't do this. She has to do whatever she wants. Would you be happy, really, if she brought home somebody who was white and horrible and mean and treated her violently?
no.
I mean, you keep saying you're not racist, but it's real clear that you're very racist. And you have to rethink it.
I'm willing to give her a
Sorry?
chance. I'm willing to give her a chance and let her make her own decisions. So it's
Well, good. Do you believe it?
as long as they're going to treat her okay, they'll be okay with me.
Good. That's exactly what I was saying, because what you'll do is hurt her if you don't go along with this, and you'll hurt them. And they have a good relationship.
Yeah.
Am I right? Yeah.
And they get along, too, and they love that baby girl. It's a baby girl, right? Yeah. They love that little girl. And you know what it is also that I find it's really hard? It's probably, you have to put yourself in her shoes for a minute. And I'm sure if you can put yourself in his shoes, because you're from the same neighborhood. But when if you put yourself in her shoes and just think about the difficulty she already has to deal with on the outside with other people making comments and talking. You know what I mean? When I was little, I was a tomboy, and it was one thing hearing the boys in the neighborhood say, you a tomboy, and having to defend that. But to come home and hear my brother call me that hurt me way more than what any of those guys or outside or girls could say on the street. So you have to think about it like that. You really need to be her support base, because she got enough to deal with in the world. You know?